Hello, I'm Ollie and this is Criminally, where I talk about crime, pulp, horror, that kind of thing. Today, why I won't be buying a Kindle Colorsoft, but why I am excited by it. So Amazon have just announced the first colour e-ink Kindle, the Kindle Colorsoft, and there has been a ton of reaction to that on YouTube, as you would expect. I actually made a video a few days before the announcement saying what I thought Amazon should do with a colour e-ink Kindle. They have chosen to do none of those things, which is probably no surprise. So Amazon completely dominate the e-reader market. There are other players out there doing interesting things like Kobo and Books, but Amazon are definitely the dominant player. And in fact, people refer to e-ink e-readers as Kindles, don't they? Regardless of what brand they actually are. Amazon have really saturated that market and they are the default for most people. So I think what they've done with the Kindle Colorsoft is the absolute minimum they had to keep up with the competition. So Kobo and Books and other players like Big Me all have colour e-ink devices out there. Amazon were playing catch up. They needed to catch up with the competition. What they have basically done is made a Kindle Paperwhite with a colour screen. And that's probably all they needed to do for the majority of Kindle users. There are loads of people out there who are, dedicated users of Kindles who will be very excited by this device. And I get it. There's something appealing about having a colour screen on a Kindle. I definitely won't be buying a Kindle Colorsoft. So my problems with Amazon as a company are well documented on this channel. I think they, to an extent, abuse some of the monopolies they have in order to push more books at people, to leverage the power they already have to dominate other markets. I think they've done that for a long time and they continue to do it, and that's why I don't use Kindles anymore. But despite the fact I'm definitely not going to be buying a Kindle Colorsoft, there is one thing that I think is interesting about it. So let me talk very quickly about colour e-ink devices generally, and I'll just recap what I said I thought Amazon should do with the colour Kindle for anybody who didn't see that video. So what I said I thought they should do was basically allow you to install apps on it. So devices like the Books Go Color 7, which I've talked about on the channel, run Android. You can install apps on them, and that means you can use that colour e-ink screen for a variety of different things. My hypothesis, if you like, in my video, my recommendation was Amazon put a very curated app store onto the colour e-ink Kindle so they could control the apps that people are installing to make sure that people are getting a good experience with those apps, but also to use that as a way to, for them to sell different types of content to users. They've chosen not to do that. They've provided, as I say, basically something which is exactly the same as the Kindle Paperwhite, but has a colour screen. And the problem with that is that most people are just going to be reading textbooks on this device. They're going to be reading basically black and white print. They will only see the colour when they're in the menus, when they're in their library screen. They will see colour covers on their books, but they won't get the benefits of colour for anything else really, apart from being able to highlight text in different colours. That's really all the Kindle Colorsoft is going to give you. It's got a 7-inch screen, which I think is too small for reading colour comic books on it. So if you think about most comic books, the pages are bigger than a 7-inch diagonal. What that means is if you try and read one of those, and I have tried reading colour comics on my Kobo, the screen is just a little bit too small. You get a bit of eye strain reading on them. Things like manga, which typically have a smaller page size, work really well on 7-inch ink devices, but guess what? Manga tends to be in black and white, so there's no real benefit of having a colour screen. So I think people will be attracted to the colour Kindle, as I was attracted to the Kobo Libra Colour, which is a very similar device. But they will find that the vast majority of the time they're just reading black and white text on there, and the colour is a gimmick. It's a really nice gimmick, but it's only a gimmick. And Amazon have priced this device high, so they are charging in the UK £270 for this, which compares to £200 for the Kobo Libra Colour. The Kobo Libra Colour does everything that the Kindle Colorsoft does, and also has the benefit of page turn buttons, which I personally think make for a much more enjoyable reading experience. So I think Amazon have definitely overpriced the Kindle Colorsoft, But it is Amazon, so there will be a ton of sales. I'm sure it will be fairly easy to fairly quickly buy one for less than £270. But yeah, for me, the benefit of having a colour screen on an e-ink device is not really about reading books. It's about reading other types of content. So on my books device, for example, I really enjoy reading the news. So I've got the BBC News app installed on there, and it's a great way of reading news because you get the benefit of colour for photos and things like that, but you also get a screen that is more pleasant to read on than something like an iPad. Similarly, on the Kobo Libra Color, you can send articles to it. So it's got integration with the Service Pocket, and you can send articles to it to read on it. There's not going to be, as far as I know, anything like that with the Kindle Colorsoft. But there is one thing about the Colorsoft that I think is interesting, and that is that Amazon are touting that the screen technology they're using in the device is different from other colour e-ink devices. And colour ink definitely has limitations. So the refresh rate, on e-ink screens tends not to be fantastic, and the colours are quite muted. So let me read you from Amazon's press release what they are saying about the colour screen on the Kindle. So they are saying that it includes colour formulated coatings between the display layers to enhance the colour, a light guide with micro deflectors to minimise stray light, and an ultra thin coating in the display stack to improve optical performance. They're also saying that they've built the display on an oxide backplane for sharper contrast, faster page turns and better image quality. Now, I don't know what any of that means. It sounds like a load of techno babble to me, but if it's true, if the colour reading experience is a lot better on the Colorsoft than on other colour e-ink devices, then that's fantastic. Anything that shakes up the market, anything that causes other companies to want to improve the technology they're using has got to be a good thing for people who enjoy reading on e-ink devices. So those are my thoughts on the Kindle Colorsoft. I definitely won't be buying one. I don't think it's a particularly interesting device because I don't think Amazon have done anything bold with it. But if that screen technology really is better and that leads to improvements across the industry generally, then I think that's got to be a good thing. Anyway, do let me know what you think in the comments. And as always, thank you very much for watching. Hope you're safe and well out there. Hope you're reading good stuff. And I'll speak to you again very soon. Cheerio.